What's up, everybody? We back in here Wednesday at 9, the Good Guy Experience. It's your boy Tyrone, aka Mr. Chocolate. All right, I got my big homie Black Pearl in the house. What's happening with you, madam?
Hello, hello, hello.
And we got the doctor. I said the doctor's in the house. Dr. Royal Rain. What's going on?
I'm good today.
All right.
We're glad.
All right, so how's everybody's week been?
Pretty good.
My week has been in desperate need of copacetic vibes.
We got the plug.
Oh yeah, spreading vibes is what I do best.
Absolutely.
Right,
you know, Black Pearl's your girl. I'm gonna make it happen.
Okay, for sure.
Well,
all right, so tonight is special night. Okay, now we got a special guest in the house tonight. All right, so we got, we want to talk about a couple of topics, herbally related, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, now we got my man Marley. Okay, so Marley, go ahead, explain yourself, who you are, what you got going on to the people out there.
Okay. Appreciate y'all first and foremost for having me. My name is Marley. I'm the owner of Copacetic Vibes. It's a spiritual smoke shop. We specialize in smoking accessories, meditation tools, and cannabis products.
Okay. So what inspires you to get into that? What inspires your journey into into being a spiritual, what do you call it?
Spiritual smoke shop. Yes, sir. So
yeah,
like even the way you worded like journey, I feel like this is really like kind of part of my journey, my development, my growth. This is probably one of the few things that's helped. I've been consistent the most ever in life. You know what I mean? I started, I'll say, my spiritual journey back in 2014, 15. I've always smoked cannabis. I'm a advocate for it. And that's one of the goals behind the business is to remove the stigmas behind it and spirituality as well. That's funny for sure. She's the main one. But yeah, so it was kind of easy, like to try to put it together. The two things I'm passionate about, being on my spiritual growth and development. I grew up in the church, so it was kind of one of those things where I kind of eased away from that and got into a more open mindset, and where you can kind of ask questions and kind of think outside the box. You know what I mean? So that was kind of the spiritual growth that I had, and like I said, that was kind of 2014. So just throughout the year, just kind of growing and figuring myself out and learning myself and learning the world, and what truly matters, and not the propaganda, the stuff that they push. But yeah, I started Copacetic Vibes in 2019. Like I said, kind of meshing the two together. So it's not just about getting high. That's one of my slogans. It's not about getting high. It's about elevation of self. So being intentional.
Getting high helps.
Being high helps. Tapping into a higher. State of mind and consciousness. You know what I mean? Just that little boost. You know what I mean? And it's from the earth, so it's something natural.
So yeah, it was our Instagram page. You call yourself a spiritual stoner. Correct?
Right.
Okay.
So that's like I said, I tied the two
in. That's a label we don't hear all the time, right?
Right.
What does that consist of, being a spiritual stoner? Because look, someone who's ignorant, not to say I am, someone who's ignorant to it, but like, he's just trying to make getting high sound special.
Right. I
get
it.
What that entail? Like, what do you feel that you have in your life that makes you a spiritual stoner?
So it's all about being intentional, right? So being young, my younger days, you'll get high just to get high, just smoke all day, just doing whatever unconsciously. Too much of anything is bad for you, whether it's good or So it's one of those things where like, okay, yeah, it's a stigma behind it, and that's one of the stigmas, just being lazy, getting high, not being productive. But when you can, like I said, tap into that higher self and be intentional about smoking it and knowing, okay, I'm good. I'm at a level where I don't have to smoke this whole blunt. I don't have to, just being more intentional about smoking, being a stoner. You know what I mean? So it's like there's nothing wrong with it, but having that intentionality behind it, making sure you're doing the right things with it. You know what I mean? Because it's easy to abuse. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when you talk about the spiritual journey, so kind of go further into that because we know about getting high, but
Right.
what is it that makes it more that spiritual journey? And I know you mentioned you were in the church, and piggyback. Do you get a lot of backlash from the people you came up with in that church setting, or they like secretly smoking with you and like?
Why gotta be a secret? The Lord,
because some of the church folk, they be like,
yeah, they got to keep it on the low. You know what I mean? Make it look good. But so initially, I kind of always felt like a black sheep, so to speak, of the family or whatever, because it was like I was like kind of always wanted to do my own thing. Even growing up in the church, I think I was scared straight. You know what I mean? Like as far as like being, heaven, hell, like I thought about dying and going to hell a lot. I feel like it was unhealthy the way I thought about it. You know what I mean? So it was like becoming older and realizing there's another way of thinking. It was like, you know what? I felt like that was stress at an early level that I didn't, putting myself through just, think about, man, am I doing the right thing? Or what if God don't, what I'm saying? Is this a sin? Or, just constantly kind of over analyzing being what a Christian is. So it's like,
I definitely understand that guilt when you start to question things in that world.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, you're not supposed to question things. What are you doing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was more so one of those things where like, and then you learn about, indoctrination and propaganda. You like a lot of this stuff is kind of designed to keep us in mindsets like that, to be scared or to be obedient to and not question things overall, not just in religion. You know what I'm saying? So it was one of those things where I kind of thought for myself. And you know what's funny? Before I actually kind of switched over, I had read the book of Revelation. I kind of got back into church, right? I was, saying I'm gonna do this right. You know what I'm saying? So I started reading the Bible and all this and that. And I read I read Job, I read Psalms, I read it. So I tried to get the positive, Proverbs from it. So it was like okay, that was I got that message. And I was like, you know what? Let me read Revelations. And man, just reading Revelations, I was like, this sounds like a movie. This sounds like a movie. This is what they should have, instead of Passion of Christ, they should have did Revelation. This is a good ass action movie.
Revelations, that's
this
like
is
my
an action movie right here.
When I was a kid, I would read Revelations all the time. It was like so entertaining.
So I was like, man, just kind of just side-eyeing it, like, what's going on here now? Come on. So they already telling us what's going to happen. So what, you know what I mean? Like they just know this is what's going to happen at the end, or like this is how it's going to play out. So it was like that. I think that was kind of like my first, like, you know what? I really need to question this because it was like just so much. And then the more you do your research and kind of reprogram your mind from the stuff that we've been taught, it's like, okay, maybe I should be questioning stuff. You know what I mean? So it was like it wasn't hard to do. As far as my family, my mom, she deals with me. She puts up with me. She loves. You know what I mean? She understands like I'm thinking different and kind of I'm living my life a certain way, but it's not in a negative light. I'm a great father. I take care of business. I go to work. I'm saying I do what I need to do. You know what I mean? So I feel like
who are not good fathers. So kudos to you.
Right. But so yeah, it's nothing. Like I don't stigmas behind. Like I said, there's no. You probably look at me and be like, okay, he smoked. But as far as like really, once you get to learn somebody, okay, damn, you do all of that and you smoke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you had a grade to recommend, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would that be?
I need y'all to stay out my head.
like a strain, like a marijuana strain.
Yes.
So one of the best strands I've ever had was this. It was called Wonder Woman, and this was back in like, yeah, it was. I felt like good. I felt good. You know, sometimes you smoking, you kind of real relaxed or whatever. Like it was one of those times where like, man, what we about to do?
So
you know what I mean?
Was it
It'll
smooth?
give you energy.
Was it smooth? Because you know you can have somewhere it's just like pat, and you're like, oh, I'm there. Or was it like a, you know what I mean? Like was it smooth?
It was a strong strain. It was a really strong strain. And this was kind of like, I don't know if y'all familiar with cannabis or prices, or like when, you know, this loud or exotic weed started coming into play. It was like around that era where it was like $450 for an ounce, you know what I mean, or some gas. So it was like you'll pay $120 or $100 for a quarter, you know what I mean, something like that. But it was
come like that anymore, like loud. I said, do they even come like that anymore? Does everything have a name?
So people call it za. Like overall, people call it za. Now I'm not too a fan of za. I just call it gas, or you know what I'm saying. That's, you know, I'm kind of old school that way. Just, you know, I don't necessarily say loud, but yeah, just gas. It's that gas, you know. You know.
Well, no, that's what I. First of all, I'm from New York, so you know, I know the conversation is different. But I just didn't know if they still call it loud, and I haven't heard it called that. That's why I was asking.
Yeah.
I know different. I've been out the market for a while, but now you know, but there was a time I was in the market, you know, but you know,
right.
But so I know different regions will have different like names for it, you know. But kind of explain just for the lay person who like maybe they ain't into it, but they're like curious about it. Explain like strains. Like people, I hear that a lot. They say that different strains. Can you kind of break that down for us, like what strains are and like what's the difference between some of them?
So you have what's called so the species is cannabis. You have different types. So you got cannabis sativa, cannabis indica, and cannabis ruderalis, but that's more so like that's like a weed for real, you know. But it has its benefits as well. But cannabis sativa is more so the up type high. It's more of an energy type high. Cannabis indica is more of a relaxed, chill type high, body high. Cannabis ruderalis, it's auto flower. That means it automatically flowers on its own. Like when it comes to sativas and indicas, there's a whole process with lights and stuff like that. You change out the lights, then it'll start to flower. With cannabis ruderalis, it auto flowers, so it's just gonna do its thing on its own. Sometimes they use that to cross pollinate to create auto flowers with sativas and indicas that'll just pollinate and flower on their own. But yeah, so the thing about strands also, like, it's kind of a hype too, you know what I mean? Sativa and indica, this, you know, research is showing it's like that's not necessarily the thing that you should be checking for when it comes to, you know, looking for a certain type of cannabis. They have what's called terpenes. Terpenes are prominent in flowers, fruits, and these are like different scents or flavors that can alter our moods. I don't know if y'all have ever heard like mangoes, they increase your high. Mangoes are high in the terpene myrcene.
Like mangoes that
the fruit. Yeah, fruit mangoes. So they're high in terpenes as well. They have what's called a myrcene terpene in it. Myrcene is a real popular terpene that's in a lot of cannabis plants. It's more of a relaxing type high. So terpenes dictate what type of high it is as well. You have what's called limonene. Limonene is in lemons. That gives you that up, you know, that how lemons kind of open you up and give you that citrus. Yeah. So if you eat a lemon with a limonene strain that has, you know, the terpenes limonene, it increases that limonene high. So if you want something to keep you up, that's a strain you should look for that's higher in limonene. You want something that's you know, nighttime or just to relax, you look for something that's high in myrcene. And there's a bunch of different terpenes, and they all play different effects in how our mood and what type of high we get.
So you get like some gummies or something and get some some lemons with it, and it'll make it stronger too? Like, will that do the same?
Yeah and no, because that's just a different that's a different way of consuming it, right? You got smoking, you got edibles, you got tinctures, you got topical creams and stuff like that you can use. So with edibles, that's more of like a body high. That's strictly a body high. You know what I mean? You can have a sativa, but the chemical breakdown of it is throughout your body. Versus smoking is more like a head thing, and with your lungs and taking it like that. That's more of something that's and it acts quicker versus doing edibles. Edibles are tricky sometimes because you eat them and wait 30-40 minutes and you don't feel nothing. Then 15 minutes later, damn, you know what I'm saying? They just smack you out of nowhere.
Down.
They smack you out of nowhere. And a lot of people mess up because they'll say I don't feel nothing and then eat them. And then eat another one, or it's like they end up feeling miserable. It's one of those like, you just wanted to be over, and that'll mess up your experience.
Orange juice helps.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Years ago, I had a crazy experience where I was at a family reunion, and so. All right, so this is going to be out. So a lot of people didn't know this about the reunion that happened to me, but yeah. So I was at a reunion, and I had some family members. They had like a big old brownie. And it was with the other desserts. So I'm like, I'm thinking I'm getting some brownie. I'm killing this brownie. I'm like, damn, this brownie. And everybody, they just looked at me like, oh shit, you can keep eating it?
Yeah.
Bro, and I ain't know. And then I was like, and later on, I was like riding around, with the fam. I'm just riding, and granted, I don't know I ate an edible. I don't know it. And granted, I ain't know I ate like 1,000,000 milligrams either. So all of a sudden, I'm just like, boom. I'm like, wait a minute, am I in college?
They don't take much, man. It don't take much for edibles.
It hit me, and I was just like, it was so miserable. I was like, I wanted to go away. Yeah, but it was, and they were like, oh man, we eat little squares of it. You ate the whole thing. And I was like, bro, y'all let me eat the whole. They just watched me too. They were like, oh.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with
it. Roy, I'm sorry.
No, so Marley, so help me understand. I'm going back to what you was just describing. So with this particular strand, they are infused with a fruit.
So the terpenes, okay, you're referring to the terpenes,
yeah. Talking about the terpenes, yes. So it's that where it's basically infused with. Therefore, it's the terpenes that's inside is a little bit more is more potent because of the fact that it's infused versus what the question that Tyrone had asked, which is if I ate an edible and then had a mango with it,
that would increase it.
Right.
That would increase it. Yep.
But it's because of the fact that it's actually
the terpene.
Right. During the actual growth process, it's being infused. So it's automatically organically getting it.
So the fruit, comes with terpenes. Yep. Just like cannabis has terpenes in it, it just kind of grows in it. It's part of the plant, part of the fruit. Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Got it.
Okay. All right. So
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask.
Y'all so excited.
Yeah, I'm loving this right here, man.
So for a novice person who knows nothing, right? If you were looking for a particular vibe, I'll use that term. If you're looking for a particular vibe, how would you go about asking for what you're looking for? Does that make sense? So if I case in point. So if I come to you, like how, and I'm just telling you, what kind of vibe I'm looking for. How would I even go about trying to describe or to get what I'm looking for?
So if you're looking for something to help keep you up or something to help get your creative juices flowing, you want something like a sativa based. Like I said, sativas are more likely to have terpenes like limonene in it. Those will help keep you up, creative. Like I said, there are a bunch of different terpenes. So those are the two most popular, limonene and myrcene. They're the most two more popular. So that's why I keep mentioning those. But they help with they interact with the high. So they kind of say, okay, this is where you're going to lean. If you want a more relaxing high nighttime, you'll go for, of course, an indica, but you want to make sure that it's prominent in terpenes that are held with that relaxation. So you can look up, a great site like Leafly. That's a good site to look up cannabis strands. So you go somewhere, you're looking for, you say, hey man, I just want something that's going to keep me up. He tell you he got some OG Kush. You can go to Leafly and look up the effects of OG Kush, and it'll tell you, oh, this is good for nighttime. This is good for, whatever. You know what I mean? So that's a good source.
Right. I was getting ready to say that's going to put you to sleep, but go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah. So like that's just a source as far as like somebody that's looking for something. That's a source where they can say, okay, well, let me see what this is. Since you're just going off a name, but Leafly is, like I said, that's a good, reliable site to actually see what type of marijuana that is, what type of strain that is, and what type of high you can expect.
Okay. All right. I got a couple more questions, but I'm gonna pass the mic. Go ahead.
We had a question here from one of our Facebook users.
Hey, so we got Belo the Great. That's my homie. He was on last week. That's Belo.
Yeah, I remember. All right. So the question is, when does the weed transition from recreational therapeutic to habit forming dependence?
So that would depend on the user. So everybody's different, as far as emotionally and the things we attract to and, depend on, if you, like I said, that's one of those things where you have to find that balance between being intentional and are you just getting high to get high. So you can use it as a medicine, but after a while, if you find yourself just smoking every other hour, you might want to question, hey, what am I doing right now? As far as the type of weed that how it's grown dictates if it's recreational or medical. But as far as like the user, that's just everybody's different. You know what I mean? And then kind of go on your own pace and what you're using it for. If you're using it for pain or sleep or whatever, and you find yourself just, instead of smoking it at night, and you just smoking it all day, after a while, it's like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah. So I guess like stages of addiction for anybody, you start, some people start off kind of slow, then they kind of get what they feel like they need it, and start getting consequences like losing jobs and opportunities, and you might have an issue there. Yeah. So
and I was just gonna piggyback to Belo on that one. If you are an individual who already is predisposed genetically, and people don't understand this, but I'm going to educate you for 1 second. If you are, okay, thank you, Marley. So he's like, yep, you already know where I'm going. If you already have a DNA predisposition to the ingredients that is found in cannabis, right? That might not be in your best interest for you to use it. And this is pause. This is Dr. Gray and only my opinion, okay? Not that of my partners here. But if you have that predisposition, honestly, I would recommend that you tread very lightly if you feel the need. And honestly, I dare say, don't bother with it, because of the various strands that are out there. You can easily succumb to transitioning quickly from what was recreational to you actually abusing it for various reasons, because of the fact that you already predisposed to it. And for those that don't understand what I'm saying, when I say predisposition, it's just like if you have a family history of hypertension or diabetes in your family, you may be, or cancer, you may be predisposed to it in your body. Same thing if you're, for the sake of conversation, if your father was a habitual user. Yes, I said father. If you said, I know. If he is, and I'm just using it as an example, not put it on the guy, right? But if he is a habitual user, then my love, your seed will probably be predisposed when that child is born. So I need people to understand when I talk about it, I'm talking about it from that context, from a genetic context. But that's all. We can move forward. I just want to throw that out there.
So Marley, how do you feel about, because I know some of our younger adults, when they battle things like mood swings or mental health issues, they use that to their version, relax.
That's like self-medication for a lot of people.
Now, I'm saying younger, but I'm going to be real with you. There are people who use it to numb themselves. That has nothing to do with age. People do it with liquor, you know, whatever. All right. So what is your view on using it to I guess the best way to say is self-medicate for mental health or moods or things like how do you feel about that personally? I know you're not a doctor, so let's go ahead and say that Marley's not a doctor.
Yeah. So as far as well, any use where you're using it to just numb yourself. I feel like, I mean, it's beyond weed at that point. Maybe, you know, you might want to seek something else. But if you catch yourself in kind of early stages, like, hey, okay, maybe I should find alternatives. One way to cut back is to actually use something like CBD to get the medicinal the properties from it, instead of the actual the high that THC gives. That's a great alternative, because like I said, you still get those properties as far as, like, you know, if you're dealing with anxiety or stress or insomnia or even any type of ailments, pain wise. You know what I mean? There's a lot of ways CBD can help. Like I said, it doesn't have the high. It doesn't have the high behind it.
So that would be the medicinal portion of it, correct?
Right.
That's where they take the THC out. That's correct.
And you got different levels of CBD. You have what's called CBD isolate, where it's just the strictly CBD medicine. You got full spectrum CBD, and that's some of everything that's in the plant. That you have the legal limit of THC, which is 0.3%, but there's no real high with it. Some people, like if they smoke the flower or edible, they might say, okay, I do feel something, but it's more so what you don't feel. People who deal with, like I said, pain or different things like that, do you feel that pain anymore? Do you feel stressed? Do you feel, you know, anxious or anything like that? So it's kind of the lack of instead of what you feel. You know what I mean? What was I about to say? But yeah, as far as like smoking THC, you know, it and using it to kind of avoid stuff, I felt like, you know, I was doing that at one point. You know what I mean? Because like I said, people who smoke just to smoke, you know, I feel like that's not normal. You know what I mean? It's not normal. At that point, it's abuse. You know what I mean? You got to kind of get real with yourself. Like, okay, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Because it costs time. It costs, you know, your health, because smoking is only, but you know what? I don't care if you smoking cigarettes or you know, cannabis. Your lungs are being affected. There's other ways to intake it, like we were talking about earlier. You know, edibles and different things like that. But there are things that can counteract the what you think you're helping or healing. You know what I mean? When you just kind of overuse it like that. You know.
Okay. So I want to kind of go to, so what are your thoughts on legalization, like on a federal level, and what's going on where you're at? Like,
no.
He
said no. He said no.
Okay.
So man,
he said no.
The legalization, man, it's such a two-sided coin, man. Just because of the fact you got the government looking at it from, I mean, it can be everybody can look at it from a money standpoint, but when you got people in office that don't know anything about cannabis, how it's grown, how it can help, or anything about it, and they're the ones that's making the rules, and okay, yeah, we're going to tax it this much and this much. You're just kind of counteracting the whole industry before it even gets started. California.
Do they not know, or is it more beneficial to come at it from that perspective? Because I think they do know more than we realize. They just realize it's more profitable to come from that angle.
So, but the thing about that, California is a great example. Like they was the first state to legalize medical marijuana. when they legalized recreational marijuana, they had a good steady industry going on out there with small businesses, small farmers, local farmers. I think in like 2018 they changed the laws and regulations, and just to fill out an application to be a grower or have a dispensary or something like that, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars just to fill out the application. So that way, that one, black people ain't got that kind of money just to fill out an application, let alone get the equipment and everything to get started. You know what I mean? So that's putting them out the boat already. When they went up, they went up in 2018 as far as, like I said, the regulation and different things like that, and it killed a lot of the people who were already signed up, farmers and stuff like that, to be able to sell the product. So a lot of them either had to destroy the crop or turn to the black market to make their money back. So that's why the taxes are so high to where the regulations are so messed up to where it's actually helping the black market, because these farmers can't get their stuff in dispensaries. They can't get their stuff in dispensaries because they don't have the legal license or whatever, or whatever. They can't afford it. And then you got some dispensaries will take it anyway. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're going to take it. But it kicked out a bunch of farmers. So basically they're going to put a monopoly on the industry before it even gets started. Over half the country, I think over like 40 states are legal in some capacity, medical or recreational. And I feel like for California to be one of the first states, and just the what they're dealing with now, I feel like states that haven't legalized it yet are low key in a good position, because you're seeing how it's playing out in other states. Are they taxing it too much? Are they not taxing it enough? What are they doing with the money? How is it really helping? You know what I mean? So you can get a kind of inside look of how it could help the state or how it could hurt the state. So I feel like these, different states that's legal now, or just, turn legal, they're kind of like the catalyst, or just the example to watch, of how to play it out. And speaking, that's just the state level. Federal, I just feel, taxes what's really going to do them. You know what I mean? Because
you
can get it.
I find it kind of funny looking at the whole thing, how black people who've been affected so much, getting locked up behind it all these years. Now it's legalized. Now they've made it so expensive where, where you would think, oh, now it's legal. Now, okay, we can get in and kind of profit and make money. That could be a form of kind of, the closer we get to reparation is. But no, but I knew it was going to happen. I knew they were going to make it expensive. Yep. It was going to be big corporations. Eventually, it was going to be a Walmart of weed. And
exactly. That's what you don't want. That's what you don't want.
Yeah. And then the little guy's going to be back on the black market, and they're going to try to lock the little guy up, and it's just the cycle continues, man.
And even with legalization, there's still limits on it. Colorado, legal state, recreational and medical. But there's certain things you can't do. You can only grow so many plants. You can only have so much on you. You won't go to jail. You might, if depending on how much you got on, you might do some time. But that's legalization. That's not decriminalization. What people should push for is decriminalization. Right. And even with decriminalization, there's still going to be regulations. There's still going to be rules, but nobody's going to get locked up. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to go to jail. So people, press for legalization. What we really want is decriminalization.
Okay, that's a good breakdown, because people get those two mixed up and don't understand, those things. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Marley, I don't know how old your child or children are, but if your child came to you under 18 and said they wanted to smoke, not the edible part, but to smoke, how would you approach that, being that you're a spiritual stoner? Would you tell them to wait till they're over 18?
Yeah, I would definitely tell them to wait, just because the few studies that have been done, like as far as like youth and brain development and stuff like that, they need to be a certain age to, let their brain really have a chance to fully develop. So yeah, I would definitely want them to wait and tell them, the importance of waiting and being able to get that full capacity of, brain function. So hopefully breaking it down to them like that would encourage it. But if it's one of those things where, like, they're going to do it anyway, like I would like, I'm going to talk to them. Look, this is what you need to look out for. Don't just smoke anything from anybody, just give them the real world, to kind of not scare them straight, but like, hey, this people are kind of evil out here. They'll give you whatever. They might try to get over on you. So it's like,
Absolutely.
I can educate you, but please wait. You know what I mean? That would be my stance. Wait.
Okay.
And that's what anybody. I smoked on my 18th birthday. It was my first day of college. I was just turned 18, and so it was like, it was a big, like, I remember that day forever. You know what I mean? So,
it was life changing.
it was very life changing, very life changing. But yeah, like I said, some studies say 18. I've seen somewhere it's like 21, 25. As far as like brain, fully getting your full brain capacity.
Yeah. So it's the frontal lobe closed fully at 25, just to let you know.
Okay. 25.
Yeah. So I'm asking you that because during COVID, a lot of our young folks that were like locked up in their room, I'm gonna call it locked up in their room, but you know what I mean? They didn't go out.
These young kids are smoking, brother.
They smoking. And so I know
I'm in a middle school and I'm seeing little 6th, 7th graders.
Oh no, I don't know. No.
I'm like,
I do not support that message. Like,
no.
Did you say 6th, 7th grade?
Yep, he did.
You still peeing on a toilet seat? What's going on?
Yes, they out here. Yes.
Okay, well, so I was gonna say, I know my teenager, because I have a teenager, but my teenager, I wouldn't say he got caught smoking, but for lack of terms, he got caught smoking, and it really was almost like he's gonna do it anyway. Just being real with you. Sidebar: I blame my older son, but that's not the point right now. So, so the agreement that I ended up having to come to is, if you're gonna do it, I need to be with you or a part of that process, or I need to be a part of that process.
I'm joking.
I need parts. I need parts of that.
No, let me tell you why. It wasn't for fun. It was, you stop it. Y'all stop it.
You was not doing that.
Let me explain why.
HR, whoever.
Oh, man.
I didn't say I small. I said I need to be part of the process. So you don't want to add it and change up.
Yes, that's what she said.
I
need to be a part of the process because, we hear stories of like DMX who got his, his drugs laced by an uncle or a cousin. I can't remember what it was. And I hate to say it like this, some of our young men got by women and they're putting things, I'm not trying to be funny. I mean, it happens the other way around.
Right.
And just also, I felt like if I was just like, oh, well, he's doing it and he was just freelance smoking whenever there was nothing. So that agreement built trust, but it's also opened up a door for him to want to educate himself versus I'm just smoking to be high and blah, blah, blah. Again, I did not use the word that I smoke with him, but those experiences build trust.
Right.
I also saw a difference in his mentals and in a positive way. And then him realizing I don't need to just smoke this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Oh, what up, Junior? It was literally like, I'm good, I don't, versus, hey, Ma, today I'm doing this. I'm here, I'm doing this. I'm not just randomly somewhere, whatever. So that's why I asked you, because I know I'm gonna be right. I understand. Someone else like, oh my gosh, that's somebody's mother saying that. Yeah, I am. All three of them.
I like that though. I like that. I think that's a good idea.
But the problem is, I think we forget as parents what we were when we were younger, and that need to educate yourself grows when you're like, dang, is that my mom saying? Okay, now I don't have to lie. I can communicate. I can do whatever. So strangely enough, it is something we found common ground on. Am I going to get like stupid lit with my children? No, I'm not. But I do feel like in the process of their recreational choices that I am helping them to make more responsible decisions when it comes to that, because the world outside of mom is far more challenging when those decisions need to be made, especially with getting high. So that's just me.
I mean, that's damn interesting, man. I never really thought about that, what I would do in that situation. I never really, I don't know.
I don't want them sneaking around.
Yeah, you don't want to sneak around.
Now, if they say, "Hey, mom, want to try crack," that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, that's another conversation.
But you brought up a good point about the fact that people lacing stuff. I mean, we got a real bad. That's what I'm about to say. We got a real bad issue with fentanyl, and people are like doing the MOST right now. Like, I need real. So that's a great point. I love that point.
And also, I know someone who's in a whole relationship, and the foundation of their relationship is getting high.
Wow. Cannabis brings people together. No matter the age, race.
Sometimes with people you don't want to be together with.
True.
You get high.
I say that's true. It does bring people together.
Because you get high and you have this amazing experience. Your body's going through things. The sex feelings are elevated, but y'all don't have nothing else in common.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
there's
that's
a
just
negative to that as well.
That's
not
a whole
from experience, by the way. Not
But I remember, like in my college days, back in the day, years and years ago, for whoever in the skies listening. But I remember people would be like, it'll be a thing like, hey, you smoke? It's like, yeah. Hey, let's be friends.
Hey, let's link up.
And like you just meet friends, and it's like,
right.
I still have friends today that I've met that way, even though we don't anymore, but it's like we're still friends to this day, because it was like, hey, it's like, is that little, hey, what you about to do? Smoke. Oh, I smoke too. You smoke? Yeah, what's up? Let's go smoke. So
I think it comes with good vibes.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. Everyone does not react well to smoking. Some people go through some real mood swings with, like, they peak.
I think that's a chemical. That's what I'm saying. Is you're interacting with your neurochemicals, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to be aware. That's the word. You have to be aware of how you actually respond in your normal state. Case in point, if you know that you have an issue with depression, and I'm not saying that like you're actually diagnosed with depression. I mean, like, if you know that
you feel down sometimes,
that you really feel down sometimes, and you need to be cognizant of that when you start dibbling and dabbling, if you will. And to Marley's point, when he was talking about indica, like, did I say it right, love?
Yep.
All right, now you see, I'm
You got it.
So when you're dibbling and dabbling, if you go the pathway of smoking, and it has indica in it, then guess what you're going to be? Guess what that outcome is going to be? Like, your low is going to be super freaking low, and then when you do when you do come back, depending on if there's some other underlying things that are going on with you, then you're going to see that for lack of a nice way of putting it, you're going to see that bipolar behavior. And I'm not bringing out bipolar, as a medical. I'm saying like the actual mood swing, as a metaphor. So yeah, sure. But go ahead. I'm sorry, baby. I'm listening.
I have a fun question. We've been talking so many, educational, knowledge enhancing questions.
Because I got two more questions that I need to have answered. But go
ahead. Let me hurry up, because she had that smile. So I went to your Instagram page, and I see you have a picture with a bomb. Is your preference rolling up or a bomb? And what is the smoking difference? Or is there?
So I like rolling up. I do like rolling up. Smoking out of bowls and different pipes. It's a cleaner way of smoking. As clean as it can get, I'll say that. you don't have to deal with like I don't use tobacco products. So with like blunts and stuff like that, that has a whole different effect because you're still intaking the tobacco. You know what I mean? So they have papers, they have hemp papers, they have. I'm not a fan of the bleach papers just because that goes through a chemical process. Like I said, you got the hemp wraps, you got hemp papers. And there's another type of paper that wrap that I was dealing with. It was made out of chamomile and something else, and it was different. It wasn't like a hemp wrap. It was something else, but it was real smooth. Smoking out of a bowl or a bomb for some people can be kind of rough, just because, like I said, it is direct, like flour to
You gotta be coughing up.
Yeah. That could send you in a little coffin.
Have you ever tried? And I know someone that told me they did this, rolling up in flower petals. Like
I've heard of that, like a rose petal. I've heard of that.
What?
I've heard of that. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, getting fancy, getting real fancy.
Smart. I know stuff.
So I got a question I want to clarify. All right, so I was in Virginia. Yeah, I was in Virginia visiting some fam, and so when I was looking around, I was just curious. I went to the bait shop about to go fishing, and there was like a little smoke shop beside it. Walked in there, they were like, I didn't know anything about this Delta 8, and they're like, oh yeah, you can, but everybody can get that. And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah. They're like, some people get high. I said, oh really? So they're like, it's like weed light. And then so Delta 8, and then Delta 9 was like the real
thing, real deal. Yeah.
So can you kind of break that down to us?
Yeah,
like explain, like
So
some people don't know that's available to them.
Look, he claimed
right. So Delta 8, it's technically legal through like the loophole that the government, they passed the what is it, right? The Farming Bill, the Farming Act in like 2018, and through that act, it made stuff like Delta 8 legal just because it's like a little gray area, you know what I mean? So with Delta 8 and all these different new cannabinoids and different stuff that you see, like the Delta 8, the THCO, the HHC, different things like that, they're all derived from the hemp plant. So hemp is it's not necessarily different from cannabis. The only thing that really differentiates it is hemp only has 0.3% THC. If it has 0.4%, it's technically considered traditional cannabis. It's not going to get you that high, but under the law, it's technically considered cannabis now, and it's not legal. It's illegal. So as long as it's under that 0.3%, they derive all those different, they extract all those different cannabinoids from it, like the Delta 8. And what they'll do, it goes, some people say it's synthetic, it's a synthetic thing, but some people say it's not because it's technically it is part of the plant. It's extracted from the plant. So the people who say, oh, it's not because it goes through a chemical process to be made like that, they'll say it's synthetic. It's a synthetic, drug. But the people say, oh no, you can extract it from the plant, so that means it's part of the plant. It just goes through a process to enhance it. So you got two ways of looking at it. But the government, the DA say, okay, it's protected under this bill. So it's still that's why it's legal. Like I said, with THC, Delta 9 is what gets you high, gives you this they both get you a high, some type of high. Delta 9 is the main high that you get in traditional cannabis. Delta 8 is the legal. It's a milder effect. So you do get the kind of high with it. You might feel the different effects like, munchies or whatever that you would with traditional cannabis. But it goes through a different it's a little bit more expensive. Like you get it out of stores, it's a little bit more expensive than CBD just because it goes through those extra steps and processes to be made. Like I said, it's all in how you look at it. The only thing with it, stuff like, so THC is regulated. It has to go through different steps and pass different tests and all that. Only the thing with CBD, it doesn't. It's not regulated by the FDA. So all these different products, CBD products, Delta 8, they're not being regulated. So what you want to look for is what they call a certificate of analysis, a COA, that tells you that this product has been tested. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a clean product. If you can't really find a COA on your Delta 8 or whatever that you're buying, that might be a sign. Okay, maybe I should steer clear from this. You want to look. That's a good thing. That COA is a good indicator of, okay, this is a legit product. So yeah, that's one of the kind of, iffy things about Delta 8.
So does the Delta 8 show up on the drug test the same as anything else?
It can. Even CBD might show up on the drug test, depending on what type of like I said, you got those different types of CBDs. You have that full spectrum or broad spectrum that can show up they could possibly show up on the drug test.
You have some explaining to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was CBD. Oh, yeah, huh?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, all right.
So, Copacetic Vibes, where is that located?
So we're based out of Winston-Salem. I don't have like a physical shop. I have an online store, and I do a lot of different vendor and pop-up events. That's really, been working for me. Like I said, I started this in 2019, and that's how I, get my name out. And that's another thing about being intentional. I'm intentional about doing is going to different cities within North Carolina and building my brand. So I'm in Charlotte a lot. I'm in Raleigh. I'm in Durham. I'm in Greensboro. I'm from the eastern part of the state. They're kind of slow on having pop-ups and different events like that. They're all more out this way.
Part of the east.
It's a small town called LaGrange, just near Kinston.
Nope, we know
Goldsboro area.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, but okay.
Yeah.
She said we know. I was like, I ain't never heard.
Man, bro, we know the 252.
Yeah, we got
25. Yeah.
718. I'm messing.
No.
Hey, so what are some of your most popular products going on right now?
So some of the more popular stuff are like edibles. Some people like the flowers, some don't. I have a lot of different pipes. A lot of people kind of gravitate to the pipes. Some of the more high-end stuff, I started what's called Smoke and Tell, and it's basically, it gives people a chance to use those higher-end products. So I create a vibe, kind of for, smoking and education. I that's another thing that I implement in my company. It's educational based. So I try to, like I said, get those stigmas off, as well as educate people on why you should want to know, what's going on or what's really going on in the plant, what you're smoking, and different things like that. So that's another thing that I promote through my company. But yeah, as far as edibles do a lot. They do a lot.
So are yours 8 or 9?
So I have CBD, Delta 8. I have some Delta 10. I do have. So Delta 10. They say that it is less than, the effects are less than. It's not as strong as Delta 8, but it's stronger than Delta 9. But the effects are stronger than Delta 9. So it's kind of like I haven't tried it yet, but just the way that it's explained, it's more so it's more confusing to me, because it's like, yes, you feel something from it, but then they say it's not as strong as the Delta 8. And to me, Delta 8 isn't as strong as Delta 9. So how can the effects be stronger or more intense, So
I'm scared of that.
I have some HHC product, and they do have legal Delta 9 gummies. Like I said, they have the 0.3%, and they're strictly like Delta 9,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So my question, because you've answered 2 of them already, which is good. Thank you. My next question, my other 2, and I'm going to give them to you. So, number 1, when it comes to, again, looking at a person that's novice versus someone that's more experienced, with regards to like edible products, right? What milligram would be ideal, if you will?
Let me check.
Okay. What milligram would be ideal, if you will, for that novice, that newbie?
I mean, the first time.
Yeah. Versus, and then somebody that's kind of like in the middle of the ground, like because sometimes, like we've described, people don't feel the effects, and so they keep going, and so what you're doing is actually increasing the amount of potency that's in your body. So if can you break that down, and then and so that's that question about the milligrams, right? So then the next question I want to ask you has to do with I know that you have beads and different things as well, aside from which is the spiritual aspect of things.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So can you elaborate on that after you talk to me about the milligrams?
Yes. So with the milligrams, like you said, everybody is different. Chemical makeup is different.
Yeah.
How it breaks down in one person, let's say something like you said, a beginner. 10 milligrams is good. It might be too much. You know what I mean? That's kind of like a traditional gummy. Like it might be a 50 milligram pack, but there's 5 in there. So each individual piece breaks down to about 10 milligrams. So eating one of those, or maybe half, just for somebody who's never done it, you might want to start out with half. Wait, I would say 30, 45 minutes. Yeah, just bite a piece of it. Give yourself time to process it, your body to process it. And then, if you don't feel anything, eat that other half. But that one gummy, typically for somebody who's never tried it, a 10 milligram gummy might work for them. Somebody who doesn't smoke or anything, that might do it for them. Yes. Versus, somebody who's more experienced, you might need a 25 milligram gummy or, edible. Sometimes the thing with like certain gummies, like a cereal treat or a brownie, you kind of gauging by eye how much you're eating, you know what I mean? Versus like those individual pieces, how much is in that individual piece. Versus you eating a brownie, okay, let me bite this corn off. Maybe this is 10 milligrams. It's kind of you gauging it. So that's the kind of thing about your treats like that.
Don't be like me.
Yeah, don't be like that. Yeah, just going in.
Wait, come on. That was a while ago. You're just in a different mindset.
Yeah.
Right?
I didn't know what I was eating.
Were you contemplating your life?
I didn't know I didn't know what was going on. And then I remember I was eating went to some restaurant. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh my God, some of those amazing stuff. I was like,
oh man.
I have contemplated my life as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So I get it.
So we're getting towards the end, but I wanted to ask you, so if somebody was like, hey, I want to get into that, like how difficult or what's the journey like getting into your own business, dealing with this?
So I'll speak for me. And to answer your other question, when I put the two together, the spiritual aspect with the smoking aspect, I was into meditation real heavy, and I not as heavy as I was now, but I was into it and learning and coming at peace with things. So I sell like different meditation tools like singing bowls, different herbs like Palo Santo, sage, rosemary, sweetgrass, different incense, incense holders, different copper, different crystals, different things like that, just to help with the, somebody tap in, spiritually, as well as, you got your smoking accessories.
And real quick,
get the thinking ball going.
Shout out to the Bravado Network for the super chat.
Thank
you guys for
Thank
love.
you.
Thanks for the super chat. All right.
I'm sorry, Marley. Keep talking, love. We had to do that shout out though, real quick.
Oh yeah, no problem. But so I would say anybody. It was two things that I was passionate about. Whatever you're passionate about, if you can find a way to, I don't want to say monetize it, but benefit from it to where you can help yourself and help other people at the same time, and not feel like you're working or it's too much of a job or a stress. Like I don't look at this as work. Like it's fun to me. You know what I mean? So like that would be my first like piece of advice. Find something that you do that's fun to you, and it wouldn't be about making money or a job or just being an entrepreneur, something that you really like doing or passionate about. But yeah, that would be my main piece of advice. Like just whatever you're passionate about, if you can find a way to, to monetize it, that makes it a lot more easier versus, oh man, okay, I got to do this, I got to do that. It's like, okay, all right, what we doing next? All right, I got that done. You know what I'm saying? It just makes everything more, enjoyable instead of like tolerable. Like, oh, I got to do this next. So
it definitely seems like something that would be helpful if you were like into it and really lived that lifestyle.
And educate yourself.
Yeah, I can't see
educate yourself. That's another thing. Make sure you know your stuff. You want to know your stuff, so that way you something like this, people get to asking questions and want to know things, and you just kind of I don't know. I just know I smoke and I like getting high. And, there's a just you want to be be able to explain things and really educate people. So that's another thing. Educate yourself so you can educate other people, and that way they really take you seriously.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No doubt. Man, we hit an hour already. It's crazy.
That was quick.
Man.
It was good information, though. When
that was dope.
Having good conversation, an hour is
nothing. Yeah. I really appreciate y'all for having me, man.
I feel like I got dreadlocks now. I got so much knowledge. I got some little dreads popping out. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
So Facebook family, down at the bottom of the screen, you guys check out our man, Mr. Marley, at Copacetic on his IG. Follow him. Let him know that that you saw him on the Good Guy Experience. Pass the word, share the love, so that way everybody is being educated and everybody's having the opportunity to catch that copacetic vibe. You know what I mean? You got to be
copacetic. You mail nationwide your products?
Yeah, I mail. I ship.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so yes, nationwide.
Yes, sir.
So you get your stuff.
Yes,
he know his stuff now. Getting them flowers and some of that stuff's
those edibles.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I get it to you. Safe and sound.
All right.
All right. So, but before we get out of here, all right. Anybody got any last comments? Black Pearl.
I definitely want to echo what Marley said. It's all good, but it's so much better when you educate yourself, so that you can do it and not harm yourself, but actually get and I'm going to do a plug, copacetic vibes that can happen from there. So.
Definitely.
Dr. Roy Rain, what's your last thoughts?
Last thoughts is, like I just said, y'all check out Marley. It's all about having, being balanced. And so he not only specializes in herbs, but also healing and spiritual awareness. So do your due diligence.
All right. And Brother Marley, so what do you want to take him out? What's your final thoughts for him tonight?
I just want to say I appreciate y'all for having me. For anybody watching, if you like they say, you can reach out to me at IG copaceticvibesllc. Got any questions? I'm always ready to help people educate themselves. So I have no problem answering questions. You want buy some products, you can buy some products too. But yeah, you can definitely just if you're just curious about anything, definitely feel free to hit me up.
All right, so guys, we're gonna be out of here. Make sure check us out on YouTube, The Good Guy Experience. Hit us on Facebook. Hit us on Spotify. All right, you can find us there. All right, so you've been in part of The Good Guy Experience, where experience is always good. Peace.
Yes, sir. This is definitely good. Peace.